England, one of the most active and resourceful areas in the world, still changing, growing, and renewing itself after all these years, and blending the new with a rich, inspiring heritage all its own, built on ideas, work, Yankee ingenuity, a spirit of independence, acts of bravery and sacrifice, a faith in progress, working together and looking ahead. Today, the 6 New England states are home to a remarkable spectrum of landscapes and activities, from industry and high-tech commerce to small businesses, fishing and agriculture, from sports and recreation to education, research and discovery, from travel and tourism to hobbies and homemaking in the broadest sense of the term. As New England's population and its commercial base continue to grow, activities and services of every kind also expand. Nearly all require electricity. Meeting this ever-increasing need is no easy task. For 2 decades now, the region's vast array of public and privately owned utilities have found a cooperative answer to this challenge through their association in Nepool, the New England Power Pool. Nepool means many individual utilities working together, using regional approaches to help determine and meet New England's growing electric power needs.
Mystic 7's on, Jerry.
In terms of general public perception, Nepool operations are behind the scenes, transparent, even invisible.
Nepool? No, I've never heard of it.
I don't know anything about it.
Isn't that something to do with electricity, power companies working together?
Nepool is the utilities in this region. And I think the focus of Nepool, the utilities working together as Nepool, has increased the reliability of the system, and I think that that is even more important as we move into the next century.
As far as reliability is concerned, if we lose a large unit in Maine, this could be covered out of state, some other place in New England.
They're able to call for the startup or shutdown of any generating facility, whether it's up in Maine, down in Connecticut, in Rhode Island, or wherever.
Nepool integrates all utilities into a big picture, dispatches power to all utilities at the most economical cost possible.
But it's to maintain the reliability in New England, to keep the lights on, to keep the power flowing.
Formed in 1971, the New England Power Pool now represents nearly 100 private and publicly owned utilities throughout New England. Coordinating this vast power system is the primary responsibility of Nepool's operating division, the New England Power Exchange, or NEPEX, through the main control center in West Springfield, Massachusetts. Satellite control centers are located in Southington, Connecticut, Augusta, Maine, Manchester, New Hampshire, and Westboro, Massachusetts. Through this primary network, NEPEX schedules the operation of more than 300 power-generating facilities and the distribution of electricity across 7,600 miles of transmission lines. And NEPEX also coordinates the purchase, sale, and transmission of power across New England regional boundaries to New York and the Mid-Atlantic region, to Quebec, Ontario, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. Through NEPEX, Nepool anticipates power demand and coordinates power supply throughout the 6-state region every day, with sophisticated forecasting procedures which consider weather, seasonal demand patterns, hourly fluctuations in usage, unique business and consumer needs, power plant maintenance, and other regional service variables. Every day, Nepool schedules the most economical mix of coal, oil, nuclear, natural gas, and hydroelectric resources available to meet expected demand. And in pursuit of the most economical energy mix, Nepool routinely arranges the purchase of bulk electricity from neighboring power systems outside of New England. Since 1971, when Nepool began operations, this ongoing partnership has saved New England utilities and their customers hundreds of millions of dollars in reduced energy costs.
Because of this sharing and because of this use of the most efficient capacity when it's needed, Nepool achieves a relatively economical, reliable supply of power.
there is very significant savings that come about through reduced capacity requirements, sharing of diversity between the difference in load shape between the northern companies, the difference in load shape between the southern companies, and the sharing of economies that result from the addition of large units such as Millstone 3 and Maine Yankee and those benefits.
While reduced costs represent perhaps the most measurable benefit of a coordinated power supply and distribution system, reliability and preparedness for today's needs and tomorrow's growth are equally important aspects of Nepool's regional operations. There's an old quote that complains, "Everybody talks about the weather, but nobody ever does anything about it." Nepool, through the New England Power Exchange, does something about it. In quickly responding to the power shortages that can occur during Arctic cold spells or blistering summer heat, when the demand for electricity is as extreme as the temperatures.
Sometimes it is obvious on Friday that you are going to be facing a very severe situation the following Monday, and you have the whole weekend to prepare for it. Other times it happens with a snap of the fingers, and that's when the judgment of the pool coordinators and the system operators really comes into play.
NEPEX must also respond quickly when unforeseen plant shutdowns occur. When power shortages threaten all or part of the New England region for any reason, NEPEX can implement a range of power options, which include bringing all fossil fuel generators to maximum output, purchasing emergency power from neighboring regions, requesting voluntary cutbacks from large electricity users, taking advantage of interruptible service contracts with large users, implementing a region-wide 5% voltage reduction, making appeals to the general public to voluntarily conserve power, and when all else fails, by implementing load shedding or controlled blackout procedures, whereby customers throughout the region lose power for brief periods on a rotating basis, so no one area suffers for a prolonged period. These procedures can also be selectively implemented when a neighboring region suddenly loses some of its vital generating capacity and needs supplemental power from New England. This broad range of options is only available thanks to the cooperation of the region's individual utilities in Nepool. Because electric utilities throughout New England have built a diverse range of power-generating facilities for meeting today's and tomorrow's demand for electricity, Nepool helps to ensure a New England power supply which is less vulnerable to weather, to fluctuations in the international supply of oil, and to economic swings at home and abroad.
We've worked very hard to diversify our resources by picking up more coal-fired energy, by increasing our nuclear-fired energy, by developing all of the hydro that we can in New England, and of course by making our oil plants as efficient as we can.
As part of this diverse energy mix, Nepool and individual New England utilities purchase power from Canada and neighboring states. Diversity also helps to ensure a New England power supply that is more consistent with clean air, environmental protection, and the health of our citizens. New England Power Planning, or NEPLAN, is the Nepool division charged with forecasting our region's future electricity needs. NEPLAN forecasts help utilities to develop intelligent and economical strategies within their immediate geographical areas that are consistent with regional generation and transmission needs. NEPLAN produces and updates an annual 15-year projection of regional electrical requirements based on a sophisticated forecasting model which considers regional economic analyses, demographic trends, energy price variation, seasonal weather patterns, the anticipated balance between increasing demand and ongoing conservation efforts, as well as other key factors. A companion report evaluates the resource options available to New England utilities in meeting projected needs.
Our forecast for the next 10 years is approximately 2%. And that 2% means an annual compounded growth after we take into account the conservation and the demand side programs that all of our utilities are working so hard to implement. We probably will have some substantial utility plants from natural gas for the next 10 or 15 years. And beyond that, we'll probably contract for some more power from Hydro-Quebec, so we'll be using their hydro resources. With a power system that's so tight and in a balance of supply and demand, I think planning is more important than ever.
It's essential for the regulators, federal and state and local, to cooperate in this process as well, because if the region as a whole needs more power, each regulator, in reviewing what its own utilities are planning, needs to take into account the whole region's picture.
Cooperation through Nepool will continue to enable the region's utilities to provide their customers with the most reliable and economic service possible for years to come. And thanks to this cooperation, New England can take pride in one of the most sophisticated and well-run power systems in the world. Nepool, at the heart of a regional power system which is ever responsive to change and growth in the New England economy, and which will continue to make possible many of the pursuits and privileges which are part of New England's very special and energetic character.